time over here. Around all of these things. Well, we are live. Welcome. Peace, my loves. Welcome to Shifting Your Reality, Shifting Your Identity with Venus. I am your host, Venus Scott. Okay, and I've been a self-mastery mentor and educator for 15 plus years. I see the shift in the comment section. Yes, we shifting, Trish. We're shifting, Sunshine. We're shifting, Chef. We're shifting, Ja. What's good, Ja? How are you, my love? We are shifting, Queen. Okay, this is what it's all about. Because we want to experience more love, more joy, more peace, more prosperity, more abundance, more aligned actions, and less failed relationships, less struggling, less all of these things. And so today we're going to be getting into shifting your identity. Okay, shifting a lot of things, but the main primary focus is shifting. So here's the thing. In order for us to understand the depths of shifting, because I know a lot of us have heard the words before. We've heard the words, we've heard the terms. Shift your reality, shift your simulation, shift. Well, at some point, it's absolutely beneficial for us to take a pause, take a couple of deep breaths, regulate our nervous systems, take a moment for you. Okay, so even with all of the regurgitation, especially with the misconceptions and the misinformation and all of the rhetoric that's being sent out into the universe, into our subconscious. Peace, Bridget. How are you, my love? Croc, how are you, my love? It is important for us to sit down, take a break, and pause, because the only way we're going to understand the depths of shifting our identity, what that actually means, is one, we need to remember our essence, right? So I know a lot of times when we ask, who are you? Like, who are you? Who are you, Croc? Who are you, Bridget? Who are you, Sunshine? Who are you, Trish? Who are you, Queen? Who are you, Ja? Who are you, right? And a lot of times, because of the programming, which we're going to get into, we kind of forgot who we are at our core essence, right? Who we are at our core essence. I'm not talking about the surface level, which the surface level, that's an extension of your identity, who you are, what you do, all the accolades and your accomplishments and your experiences. I'm talking about the core of who you are, because you cannot change something you do not understand. That's number one. So when it comes to us shifting our identity, two, shift our money, right? When it comes to shifting our finances, when it comes to shifting our love and all the other dynamics and our experiences, if you don't know who you are, then how can you correct something? If you don't have a deeper understanding of it, how can you correct it? Not only that, even if you learn what it takes to correct it, then you must move into how to apply it. So in order to understand the depth of shift, especially when it comes to our identity, the realities that we live in, the matrices, not just one matrix. We don't just live in one matrix, we live in matrices. There are an infinite number of matrices, and there are infinite number of simulations, depending on which word you choose to use. That is the epitome and the core of all of what we've experienced and what we're going to continue to experience. Steve, welcome in, my love. So the core essence of who we are: soul, mind, body. Okay, now I know there was a point where I was a little confused as to what's the difference between a soul and a spirit. Because I know a lot of us, we say, well, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. I have spiritual practices. Here's what I would say to anything that you're learning, anything that you're consuming. It is absolutely imperative for you to have a deeper understanding of what the things that you're regurgitating mean on a deeper level. Ashe? So when you start to understand these things, your life will change for the better, right? when you start studying the etymology of words, when you start understanding that there has been a lot of trickery done with the words, a lot of those who are seemingly in power, those who we quote unquote call the elites, they did exactly what they were purposed to do with creating the languages that they create, especially the English language, which has been indisputably proven that it is one of the lowest frequencies, one of the lowest languages that amongst the probably thousands of languages that we're using. Now, does that mean that we're not supposed to talk, we're not supposed to speak? No, because this is how we communicate. This is the language. However, when you know better, you do better, especially when it comes down to the reasons why many of us are still struggling, the reasons why many of us are still broke, the reason why many of us are speaking certain things like words of spell casting, which is the fact. But then we continually speak things that is further causing us to self-destruct. Ashe? So we want to change that. So at the beginning of shifting your identity, to shift your realities, to shift your dynamics, Dare, how are you, my love? Welcome in. We have to understand who we are. We are soul, we are mind, we are body. We are not spirits. Are there spirits? Ashe. But just like polarity, there must be one and the other. There's no such thing as separation. There's no such thing as having one without the other. There must always be good, bad, light, dark, righteousness, unrighteousness, up, down, as above, so below. It is the same thing when we're referencing or gaining a deeper understanding of our own frequencies, our own cymatics that we are using. So if you are a pure soul, a genuine soul, then you are soul. Okay, souls are superior to spirits. Even though there are righteous spirits, good spirits, there are also unrighteous spirits, negative, low vibrational spirits, spirits that are parasitic, and they come to do one thing and one thing only: to trap your soul. Souls cannot trap other souls, but spirit entities can trap souls. So if you never really understand who you are at your core, if you constantly saying that you are a spirit, that you embody the spirit, what spirit are you talking about? Because a lot of us have been conditioned and using that we are spirits and God is a spirit and there is a Holy Spirit. But do you not understand the history of those words and why they were created? It was all to keep us mentally enslaved. It was all to keep them keeping us in a dark side dormant state so they can continue ciphering off your energy. So when we speak about shifting your identity, you must first know what is at the core of your identity, and that is you are soul, you are mind, and you are also physical. This is the essence of who we truly are. These aren't just words, my loves. This is the epitome, the core framework of who we are at our existence, right? So when we talk about who we are, your soul is the eternal essence. Your soul is the life force. Your soul is the essence of God. Ashe? Your soul is the essence. Your soul is the I am. Your soul is the all-knowing. Your soul is the omnipresent and omnipotent. Don't let anybody ever trick you out of your inheritance. This is what you are. Well, many of us, okay? Let's get correct here, okay? Because there are soulless beings walking around here, and there are, of course, spirits walking around here too. So we don't want to get it twisted. We want to expose the lies and reveal the truth, because the truth really will set you free if you apply it. So there's a difference. I know a lot of people say, well, you know what? Knowledge is power. How many of you heard that? Put a one in the comment section. Knowledge is power indeed. However, it doesn't become powerful until you apply it. So we can learn all the things, all the right things to learn. However, if you do not understand how to apply it, then all you have is the ability to be powerful, but you're not powerful as of yet. Trish, I see the ones. Queen, I see the ones. Chef, Sunshine, I see the ones. Ashe? So we need to understand that we are light beings. We are not humans. I say this and I will continually say it until those of us who are willing to shift everything about who we are or who we thought we are and what we actually can experience. Okay? Most importantly, the willing. You are light. beings. We are light beings, okay? And we embody consciousness. I say so. That is incredibly important. Welcome in, and oh, I forgot to welcome in my YouTube family, YT family, Facebook family, and definitely my TikTok family. Okay, so the reason why I'm bringing this up, understanding the core of who we are, because when you don't understand who you are, especially the soul, the core of your essence, your very life force, we tend to neglect ourselves, and we indirectly starve the soul. This is why a lot of us oftentimes feel empty. This is why a lot of us oftentimes feel misplaced. Like sometimes we just don't know where we are, who we are, what we're doing, especially those of us who've been operating in the same frequency for so long. A lot of our identities are tied to being a mother, being the father, being the worker, being the business owner, being the mentee or mentor. A lot of us are just programmed to live and embody our identities as if they are actually us. And when we're talking about shifting your identity to shift your life, shift your money situation, shift your, shift the trajectory of where you're going, you also need to understand where you are. Okay? You don't want to continue starving your soul of what it actually needs. Okay? So the shift system teaches you how to connect to your essence. Okay? Pardon me. Now the second part of who we are is mind. Now, I know there's a lot of talk around the mind, but here's the indisputable facts of it. Your mind and consciousness is different. We embody consciousness. Consciousness is what we download. Consciousness is the infinite source of information, the Akashic records, the recorder. Okay? Our minds are like the supercomputer. Okay? Our minds are our supercomputer that in which all of our beliefs are stored. It is where all of your programs live. Now we talk about mental programs and what are programs, and another word for neural programs, the scientific term, right? The technical term is neural pathways. Okay, your neural networks, and we have trillions of them, perhaps billions of them. So every time we have programs for the way we talk. You see how I'm animated and I'm using my hands? That's a program. And because I've been operating in this program for so long, it's just kind of automatic. Like I'm very animated. I'm very expressive with my language, with my linguistics, what I talk, and I'm expressive with my hands. We have a lot of programs. We have a program for the way we brush our teeth, for the way we groom ourselves, for the way we process what's in our supercomputer. Okay, we have a program for everything we do, how we engage, how we hate, how we love, how we give, how we receive. There's programs for everything. Ashe? Yes, man. How are you, my love? Welcome and welcome in, welcome in. So we're still talking about, before we get into the master framework, we're talking about the core of who we are. So we went through the soul, okay, which is your core essence. It is the I am. You are the Ashe. You are the infinite source of life. Mind is our supercomputer. Think of it like an operating system running in the background of your life. The mind can either be your greatest tool, or it can become your prison. Okay, because a lot of us have so many mental fractures. A lot of us are bound and enslaved by old dominant programs that no longer serve us. They should have never been given to us in the first place. That's just my perspective. However, it doesn't matter what was given, what was shown, and what was forced. What matters now is, what are you going to do about it? Okay, and you can't do anything about it if you don't first know what you're dealing with. Okay. And there's things that are required for you to understand what you're dealing with. But if you never learn who you are, how are you going to understand how to fix anything, how to correct anything? That's literally going to be impossible. Ashe? So a lot of us are running our old faulty programs and we don't even realize it, right? Our core beliefs, right? The family, when we deal with our family, how we associate with our family, the attachments that we have to our family, the attachments we have to certain people, right? The mind has a tendency to keep you stuck in perpetual loops of dysfunction if you never shift. your programs, if you never reprogram the programs, because your mental body is programmed with all the things you program it to do. So if you're still struggling with money, if you're still struggling with romantic love and relationships, if you're still struggling with procrastination, if you're still struggling how to understand anything, it is because of your old dominant database that is currently running your old identity. And a lot of times we think we're running a show. Are you really? Are you really? How did you learn suffering? How did you learn complacency? How did you learn inconsistency? Everything that shapes us to this day, everything that has shaped our current identity is all predicated upon the social influences, environmental influences, family, friends influences, system influences, government influences. So if we never ever take the time to sit down and process those things, how do we think we're going to shift anything? Not possible, right? And last but not least, we're not the avatar. The avatar is a part of our core essence, but you're not the avatar. A lot of us get trapped up in all that the avatar expresses. You're not the avatar. Do you understand what I'm saying? Lady, how are you, my love? Welcome in. This is your sacred vessel, your sacred avatar. It's how the soul and mind experience the body, experience the world. This is the physical manifestation of everything that you embody. So when we talk about your identity, okay, the vehicle you in, the beautiful body that you're in, the beautiful avatar that you're in, it is expressing itself based upon your identity. And a lot of our current identities is based upon lack, fear, scarcity, limitations, etc. All things that keep us stuck. So what happens when the more we exhaust our bodies, the more we neglect the soul, the more we neglect the mind, and the more we neglect the spirit, the soul or the body. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or transmuted. However, when we're talking about the longevity of our lives here on this realm and the different realities that we play hopscotch in, your vitality is absolutely crucial. Okay, so when we're not elevating, when we're not motivated, infinite gratitude for sharing the lives. Okay, let's get these taps up. Here we go. Let's get the taps up, my love. As long as I'm here, the only thing I absolutely request is that you engage. Okay, because I am offering value. I know I'm offering value, and I know that a lot of y'all want to change your lives. A lot of y'all have loved ones that you want to help them change their lives. But how can you teach someone something you're not being yourself? Notice I didn't say doing, because doing is the byproduct of you being. You being intelligent is the byproduct of your intelligence that you already embody. You having wisdom is the byproduct of you being and embodying wisdom. The same goes with anything else. So let's run up the taps. Run up the taps. Infinite gratitude. Miss Sims, how are you, my love? Peace, peace, peace. Right? So the soul, the mind, the body, each one are distinctive, yes, but they're all interconnected. Okay. And I need for us to definitely understand that. So we are light beings, we are soul, we are mental, we are mind, we are physical, we are body. Okay, little things like that. I know some of us may think that, yeah, I heard it all. Well, if we heard it all, why are we still struggling and suffering? Why are we still broke and bruised? Why are we still healing 5, 10, 20, 80 years? Why are we still in these low timelines, these low frequency timelines? Why are we not experiencing more abundance, more peace, more joy, more prosperity, more confidence, more security 80% of the time? Not 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80% of our days, 80% of our weeks, 80% of our months and years. We should be experiencing all the beautiful aspects of what it means to live and operate and thrive in higher timelines, not lower timelines where we continually experience more hurt, more pain, more suffering, more guilt, more resentment, more lack of whatever it is, more grief. That's not natural. And I know a lot of y'all want better. I don't know anybody in their right mind that don't want better for themselves, that don't want better for them families. But the truth is, how long are we going to continue to just talk about it? How long are we going to continue just reading? Right? We're doing some of us are binging on books, binging on all of our great philosophers and mentors. We're binging on videos, which is a beautiful thing. However, if you do not understand what you're doing, it is actually going to have the reverse effect of it being helpful. When you don't understand overconsumption, when you don't understand balance and harmony, when you don't understand application. All of those things can actually hurt you instead of help you to elevate. This is why a lot of us are self-destructing now. So who I'm speaking to the willful. I'm speaking to the beautiful souls. I'm speaking to the entrepreneurs. I'm speaking to professionals. So if you are professional, if you are entrepreneur, if you are a thought leader, okay? If you are a master of self, if you are action taker, I want you all to come to the front. Because there's no reason why we should still be focusing on people who don't want nothing for themselves at all, who are very comfortable in mediocrity, right? We don't want to, we must put in the work, right? You have to. It is the only way. And don't think that not doing the work is going to what? That the only thing, don't think the only thing that's going to come from you not doing the work is simply you're not doing the work, that you're going to stay stuck. Does the concept of stuck exist? Absolutely. You know what else is the truth? The law of exchange, the law of expansion, the law of ascension and descension. Because if you're not going up, you're going down. If you're not moving to the left, you're moving to the right. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. There's no such thing as things remaining the same. And I know a lot of us would like to think that. However, the truth is a lot of us are causing our own self-destruction. Our own self-destruction. A lot of us are self-sabotaging. A lot of us continue to do the same things over and over and over again. I want us to really think about that for a second. Why do you think you keep repeating the same feelings, repeating the same emotions, going through the same situations? Why do we think we keep suffering? Contrary to popular foolish opinions, I know some people think, oh, if you're not suffering, you're not chosen. Inaccurate, false. You do not have to suffer in order to experience what some call your heaven, your bliss, your serendipities, more love, more peace, more joy, more prosperity. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer in order to experience more abundance of all the things that you love. Infinite gratitude, Steve. Thank you so much, my love. You don't have to suffer. You don't even have to sacrifice as much as people would tell you you need to sacrifice. Well, if you're not willing to sacrifice your sleep, if you're not willing to sacrifice good health, if you're not willing to sacrifice eating well, if you're not willing to sacrifice your children, if you're not willing to sacrifice your loved one, if you're not willing to sacrifice your happiness, that is false, 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 and it's all designed to keep you enslaved and entrap your soul. Will there be ever times where you need to exchange something for something different? Yes, but perspective will determine how you embrace that situation. Ashe, infinite gratitude. Kenny Pops, how are you, my love? Infinite gratitude. Trina, how are you, my love? So how many of us are done with suffering? If you're done with suffering, if you're done with procrastinating, if you're done feeling depressed, for far too long. If you're done, infinite gratitude for grabbing your daily heart, McKinney. If you're done struggling with money, if you're done struggling with health, if you're done struggling with finding yourself, finding your identity, remembering who you are. Hi, Uncle Joe Fitz. How are you? Love you. How many of us are tired? Like what so many of us are sick and tired, but yet we're not doing what we should be doing about it. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of y'all actually doing something about it, but that's not what's important, and that's not what is going to determine whether you win or lose, per se, whether you elevate or de-elevate, ascend or descend. It's what you're learning, what you're consuming, what you're applying that matters. Because you can be reading all the books, you can be doing all the things, and it's not working for you. Why isn't it working for you? A lot of y'all are meditating. Correct? Put a 1 in the comment section if you're meditating. Put a 1 in the comment section if you're binge watching the books. Put a 1 in the comment section if you are speaking your affirmations. Put a 1 in the comment section if you are feeling happy and joyful most of the time. Put a 1 in the comment section if you're doing all the things, no matter what it is, to elevate. But yet and still, we're not exactly where we want to be. Time is an illusion. I'm here to remind you that it does not take time. I see your ones, infinite gratitude for being transparent. I love when we are transparent. I'm here to tell you that it don't take years. It don't even take days sometimes, depending on what you're materializing, depending on what you want to experience. Some of the things you want to experience, it don't take days. Some of the things you want to experience, it don't take weeks, it don't take months, and it damn sure don't take years. However, the perspectives that we constantly have that has shaped our current identity, which is all based upon all of the old things, the past traumas, the past hurts, the past pains, the past griefs and resentments, and all of those other things. So why are you doing all the things and you're not making any progress like you want to make? And I don't say that to demean what you're doing or to demean what you've been applying. However, I am here to encourage us to be transparently honest with yourself. And the truth is that you're not seeing the changes that you want. The money isn't coming consistently. You're not forging healthy relationships consistently. You're not building, your business isn't scaling consistently. Like it's like you take 2 steps forward and then it seems like somebody done knocked you 100 steps back. Don't you want to know why that is? Rita Divine, how are you, my love? Jazz, how beautiful. Hi, honey. How you doing? Infinite gratitude. Don't you want to know what that is? I know I needed to know. When I was struggling financially, when I was broke, when I was just having mommy issues and daddy issues, and I was just so broken, I was lonely, I was lost, I was depressed, I was so many things, just traumatized. I wanted to understand why I kept dipping into these deep states of depression to the point where I attempted suicide. Not once, twice. I needed to know, how did I get to this point where I just wanted to give up? How did I get to this point where I didn't see any silver lining, where I didn't see any hope? I'm wonderful, divine, infinite gratitude, infinite gratitude. How did I get to this point where I didn't know who I was? I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I should be doing. I didn't know who to have around me, who not to have around me. It was just this constant wrecking my brain. Everything was scattered. I needed to know that. Why? Because I wanted to live. And I knew the rate that I was going, baby, let me tell you something. I wasn't going to make it. I was not going to make it. If I attempted suicide the first time, if I attempted suicide the second time, I damn sure wasn't going to attempt it the third time, because by the second time I'm like, you know what? Okay, there's something that I'm missing. And I need to figure it out. I need to figure out, why am I still suffering? I need to figure out, why am I happy 20% of my months? That means the majority of my days and my weeks and my months, I am unhappy, I am lost. And let me tell you something. I learned how to fake it really, really good. You could not, nobody around me could not tell. They could not sense that I was deeply depressed, unmotivated, uninspired. They could not tell because I made it look good. Depression looked good on me. Infinite gratitude. I say, Kenny Pops, suffering looks good on me because I was walking around smiling, laughing, joking, using all the coping mechanisms. I was overindulging in SEX. I was overindulging in extra high activities. I was overindulging in all of these things. And guess what? I look good on the outside because I am a huge fashionista. I love me some clothes. I love fashion. So I look good. I put on my makeup. I put on my wigs. I put on my lip balm. I put on these masks, and to the point where I didn't know which mask. I just didn't know. It was too many. It got to be too much. And I made a commitment after my second attempt. At the time, I was like, you know what? I didn't understand what I understand now. However, when I was having an out-of-body experience, when I was looking at my lifeless body, that was the first out-of-body experience I've ever had. And the more I started studying quantum physics and quantum entanglements and reality, and the matrices and transcendence, I understood that that's what happened. At the time, I didn't know what was happening. So my soul is outside my body, looking at my lifeless body. And I felt everything. I felt my heartbeat dwindling, my pulse getting weaker. I'm looking at myself lying on my bed in Afghanistan in Kandahar. I would not forget that moment. And I'm looking at the NCOs. It was 5 or 6 of them in my room at the time, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. Fast forward, in that same moment, I made 2 commitments. At the time, I said, you know what? I don't remember saying, God, if you help me. I just said, I heard myself say, I sensed my soul saying, I said, you know what? If I survive this, I'm going to learn everything about why I got to this point where I felt like I wanted to give my life up, where I just wanted to disappear. Knowing I had children that was dependent on me. Madam, my love, how are you? Knowing that I actually had some family that loved on me, that wanted to see me win and shine. That to remember that I had gifts and talents. Do you understand? Peace, Definitely. How are you, my love? Welcome in. I made the commitment. I said, if I survive, I am going to learn everything about depression, everything about quantum physics, everything about soulity, everything about spirituality, everything about genetics and chemistry and biology and all the things. Until this day, years later, more than a decade later, I'm still teaching mastery. The second commitment I made is that I knew that I wasn't the only one that was going through this. I knew that there are people committing suicide every single day. So my second commitment was, when I master me, when I master my mind, when I master my soul, when I master my energy and frequency, I am going to teach other souls how to do the same. And I've been on that journey. And decades later, we're talking about 18 plus years later, I am still teaching willing souls. It used to be all souls I wanted to help. But I quickly learned after a decade of teaching that all people don't want to be helped. Some souls want to suffer. Some souls don't want to change. Some souls love procrastinating. Some souls want to continually stay impoverished and poverty. Some souls actually don't want to ever be confident enough to know what they say, mean what they say, do what they say, and don't make apologies or excuses, justifications for it. There are some souls that actually want to ascend. There are some souls who prioritize their ascension over money. even though money is on their priority list. It's just not first. There's some souls who are willing to actually do the work. There's some souls who actually would invest in themselves because they don't want to keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. And it's years later. Years later, you still not making the money you want. Years later, you still don't have a significant other in your life out. I'm happily single. No, you not. Stop lying. Stop it. Now, I'm not saying do all souls want to be with a partner. No, but the majority of souls who understand who they are, you know you would not purpose to be without a significant other or love in all the seasons that you move in through and out through. That goes against nature. That goes against your essence. Just look at nature. It'll tell you that you were never purpose to stand alone and be alone. Look at the universe. It will tell you that you were never purpose to stand alone and be alone. So I made a commitment and I've been doing it ever since. So I didn't stop trying to help everybody. I only help willing souls who understand that their ascension is important, that the experiences that they want to experience, more love, more peace, more joy, more prosperity, all of these things are absolutely important to them. So important, they don't make excuses as to why they don't show up. How are you showing up for everybody else but you? You show up for your bosses. You show up to get that paycheck. You show up to work on time. Some of us be, and I remember I used to do it. Baby, I used to trip over myself trying to get out the door to make it to work on time because I knew that that was a mandatory thing that I get to work on time. And if I had too many late days, then I could potentially be fired. Now the rippling effect to that is like, you know what? That's going to affect my housing. That's going to affect how I provide for my children. So I couldn't afford that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like many of us. You put your focus and attention on everybody and everything else. Meanwhile, you are self-destructive. And your boss and your job in that corporation ain't gonna give a goddamn nothing about you. They don't even come to your passing, your family passing. They don't call and check up on you. They don't entertain you. You're just a damn worker. You're a worker bee. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do we ever get tired of not changing? How many of y'all want to retire yourself? How many of y'all are thought leaders? Put a one in the comment section. How many of y'all have the goal of retiring your parents, the ones who loved you and nurtured you and took care of you for so long? Ashe, ascension is vital. How many of us want to experience going on vacations more than once a year? Not to escape our reality, but to experience a different reality, to experience the blue waters that the Caribbean islands and all of these other countries and continents has to offer, to experience different food, to spend time with you, to love on you. But you have a lot of people planning vacations to escape the reality that they're living in, when the only thing you're doing is making it worse. Every time you put your focus on your boss, on your job, on your business, I'm talking about all your focus on your children, on your family, on your friends, on entertainment and external environments, you are starving your soul, you're starving your mind, you're starving your body. And eventually you're going to crash. Trust me, make no mistake, eventually you're going to crash out. And I don't want that for you. So when we're talking about shifting your identity, what is identity? What is identity? What's this thing called identity, Venus? What is identity? Right? You ever ask yourself that question? Knowledge is power. It only becomes powerful when you apply it. This is why a lot of wonderful ideas and profitable ideas and businesses are just buried. Okay? Your identity isn't simply your name. Your identity is past your job, your title, your status, your gender. Your identity is past your personality traits. Pardon me. Your identity is so much more. Your identity is your internal blueprint, okay? To be consciously is who you are consciously and unconsciously. Alyssa, how are you, beautiful? Right? Debonair, how are you, my love? How you been? Right? It's your identity is built upon the stories you continually tell yourself. The meaning you give to anything and everything that you do. Right? It's the meaning you give to your personality. It's the meaning you give for how you do things. Infinite gratitude, Rita. How are you, my love? It's the meaning you give to your habits, your behaviors, the roles that you play, the masks that we wear. Your identity is what gives all of those things meaning. Okay? Your protector. How you feel safe or unsafe. Your identity is the frequency you radiate without even realizing it. Yes, is there a lot of information floating around, or do some of you feel overwhelmed with the information because somebody's saying this and somebody's saying that? I know I did. Put a one in the comment section if when you started your journey, even while you're in your mastery journey, you ever felt overwhelmed? Like there's so much information, there's so many people speaking there. You got the group over here that's speaking one thing, you may have another group over there that's speaking the same thing, and then you have all of these other groups that are speaking something different. And next thing you know, pardon me, you going down this rabbit hole. Any of y'all felt like y'all was just going down this endless rabbit hole? And everything you hear, you like, well, he said this or she said that, so let me further research this. And next thing you know, you got 10, 15 books opened up at the same damn time, comparing, which is a beautiful skill, right, Sonny? Right, Radiant, Big Chef, it's a beautiful, baby, listen, when I tell you, I've been there. When I started detaching and shifting my identity from Christianity to soulality, well, it was spirituality at first. My elevation went in phases, just like a lot of your elevations will go in phases. So as I was shifting, I'm like, you know what? When I went down a rabbit hole trying to figure out what is Christianity, I've been a Christian for umpteen years because my family were Christian. My mama, and her mama. So that's what I was taught naturally. But there was always something within me that says, you know what, same, right? Divine's like, something is missing. So I went down that rabbit hole. At first, it was months on top of months hearing from different pastors. And I'm like, well, that's not going to help because they all kind of saying the same thing. There's a common thread, right? And so I said, you know what? Let me start studying Buddhism. Let me start studying Seventh-day Adventists. Let me start studying, what is it? I didn't never study Luciferian. I ain't studied the dark side like that, but I understood it. Let me start investigating all of these different religions to find, because I was trying to figure out who I was, my identity. I did not know who I was on my own, apart from who I was told I was, who I was told to be. You understand? So I knew at the time, I said, you know what? I need to do something. And there was a point where I just said, you know what? I'm so done. That's it. I got so overwhelmed. I'm buying books on top of books on top of books. I'm watching all of these videos and recordings, and I'm listening to all the things. And I said, oh, I had to take a break because my mind was going loop diddly loop doop loop loop doop. It was too much. And I said, you know what? I need to move on from this. So I summed up. One of the things about me that I will take an infinite amount of information and I will condense it where it makes practical sense to me. So in case in point, when I'm talking about shifting my identity from Christianity to soulality, to understanding who I was, this is what I boiled it down to. Because I know this is going to help a lot of y'all. I know it's going to help a lot of y'all. What I boiled it down to, even though I continued my studies, but I pulled back from the in-depth studies, right? I started balancing how I studied and what I studied. This is what I boiled it down to regarding religion, spirituality, soulality, whatever you call God, goddess, queen, whatever. I said, you know what? It's righteousness and unrighteousness. How simple is that? How simple is that? I boiled it down to those two things. I'm either righteous or I'm not. People that are around me, that I allow around me, they're either righteous or they're not. And then I started learning, well, what does it actually mean to identify and embody righteousness? What does it actually mean to embody and identify unrighteousness? It helped declutter. What I was doing was even though I was doing something positive, I was creating mental fractures. I was creating heart fractures because I wasn't giving my mind, my heart, and my nervous system time to process what I was learning. It was reading after reading after reading after reading, watching, listening, doing. And it was causing mental fractures and heart fractures. And I wasn't aware of it. And so this is why it's so important for me to break certain things down to you, because a lot of us think we know what a thing is and you really don't, which is why your reality remains the same or more of the same, which is why we're still broke, we're still in poverty, we're still struggling and suffering with so many things. Why do you think that is? Don't you want to get to the core of it? I know I did. I didn't want to be depressed no more. I never wanted to get to the point where I'm in that dark place and I want to commit suicide. I didn't want to get into a place where I was trying to figure out where I'm going, to the point where it was just dragging me down. I didn't want to be around the same people, places, and things no more. I wanted better for myself. I wanted better for my children. I didn't want them repeating the same cycle. I've come to realize that I was a cycle breaker. So yes, there are going to be nuances that I must experience and taste before I give it to my children. Because if what I serve my own children, my loved ones, my offspring, and what I serve other people is poisonous, I want to be the one to take that hit first. That's what righteousness means to me. Having integrity, being responsible and accountable, no matter who's looking. A lot of you, many of you who I've even taught, who my mentees and took my classes, don't even know what I do behind the scenes, but I hold myself accountable behind the scenes because I can't lie to me no more. Not that I can't retract. I won't lie to me no more. I won't deceive me no more. I won't discourage myself no more. So in turn, because I embody righteousness, because I shifted my identity from the identity of lack to abundance, because I shift my identity to limited, right? Being limited minded, weak minded, to limitless minded, empowerment minded, is like second nature. And I can hold my head up high and walk straight, no matter and upright, no matter where I go. So when it comes time to pop my intelligence, baby, I pop my intelligence like I used to pop my shit back in the day. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to lie to myself. I love popping shit back in the day. I love knowing what I was talking about. I love being about my business. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie to myself. It is what it was. But now I love popping my intelligence. And whenever I have to pop up and pop out, I want to know what I'm talking about to my core. I want to have the discipline and the morale. I want to embody. And so that was my journey in shifting. It wasn't enough for me to just know it. It wasn't enough for me to just talk about it. I had to really be about it. So when we don't understand these things, our old identity, it never being an accident, how it was formed. If we never understand these things, how are you gonna shift? Right? Okay. Gia, how are you, my love? So all the things that shape our identity, the environment, the repeated thoughts that we have, the emotions, all of these different things. How many of you are done? How many of you are just done with failed relationships? How many of you are transparently honest with yourself to say, you know what, I feel a little discouraged or extremely discouraged because you've experienced failed relationship after failed relationship, and for reasons that I know, you keep attracting and aligning with the same men and women, and it just don't work out. It just don't last. I know I've got discouraged before plenty of times. You try to do everything in your ability to make more money. You work harder, you work more, you haven't sleep this night, you're destroying yourself to make an extra dollar. Ashe, Rita, infinite gratitude, my love. I see you, Queen. Right? So we're doing all the things out of disparity. When you're desperate, you make the most unhealthy choices you can ever make. And it's doing nothing but fast tracking your life in the gutter. Whenever I was desperate for love, I picked the worst type of men to be my companion. When I was desperate for money, I did the worst, the most for money. When I was desperate for validation, I chose the worst people to be around to validate me. When I was desperate for peace, I chose the worst environment. And many of us are creating the same type of realities from that same desperate, from that same disparity. But nothing is going to change until you change it. Ashe, I love that you quit your job in April for your business. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are healthy ways to accelerate your healing, to finally be healed. There are healthy ways to accelerate your consistent money, to accelerate you from being inconsistent to consistent, to accelerate anything that you want. I am living proof of this. I do not brag. However, I cannot tell you the last time I was struggling financially. As a matter of fact, I just received an unexpected deposit for $603 in my bank account. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Okay. Listen, I embody wealth. Money feels safe coming to me, right? And so it really don't matter where it came from. It just comes, and it comes frequently, right? So it was from Amazon. I'm like, well, I don't remember making a purchase from Amazon and they had to return my money. So as I'm digging, I'm like, oh, last week I got an email saying you need to update your payment payout method or whatever it is from KDP. Now it's been years since I've really what I want to say. So I'm for those of you who don't know, I'm also a best-selling author. So that money came from all the books that I didn't know that I was selling over the last year. I didn't know because I don't really promote my books on Amazon no more. And especially because I'm in Thailand, now I don't sell paperback or hard copies of my book. I just offer the digital version of the book because I refuse to give someone else my hard-earned money because Amazon was only giving me like 30% over book sales. So it's been well over a year, but I don't know about you, but I don't, would you be fussing like who sent me $603? Where did this come from? It came. Okay. So the work that I put in years ago is still bringing me residual income. And I don't think that would have happened if I never shifted my identity. Because when you learn to shift your identity and all the things that I teach you and shifting your identity master framework, money starts to flow to you easily. Wealth you start to understand these things. You start to embody. People start to flock around you. They just want to be. People love me. People love Venus. And I'm grateful and honored because I love a lot of people. I truly have supported people and family in my life. I've had horrible romantic relationships and I've also had beautiful romantic relationships. I cannot tell you the last time I've struggled, period, in any area, mentally, soulfully, physically. I cannot tell you that. Why? Because I've been doing the work and I've been doing the work since, and I continue to do the work because the pleasures and the serendipities and all the beautiful things that continue to happen to me, I would never be living in Thailand right now if I didn't shift my identity, experience and eating healthier food, fruit with actual seeds in it. Consistent money, doing what I do, able to elevate my consciousness, able to jump higher timelines because this is what I do. I always need to give you fresh information. I'm constantly shifting to elevate. And this is what I teach my mentees. But if you never learn this and stop lying to yourself, things are not going to change in which you really wanted to change. So, how many of you want to know how I started making consistent money? Put a 1 in the comment section. How many of you want to know how I actually stopped experiencing depression? I can't tell you the last time I've been slightly depressed. How many of you want to know how I found healthy love? And when I attracted partners that were aligned with me. How many of you want to know how I became more confident? Alyssa, how are you, love? Sunshine, I see the ones. That's where it started. And so remember, I told you I made a commitment. And when I made a commitment to myself, I kept it. And I said, when I master all of these things, I'm going to teach other souls that want to learn and is willing to not make excuses, justifications, rhymes, or reasons as to why they're not doing the work. Ashe? Really? It's, Kenny Pop, when I tell you Thailand is so beautiful, it is so beautiful. So one of the things I had to understand is my core values. How many of you really know what core values is? Put a 1 in the comment section. Because there was a time where I did not know. Now, when I ask you questions, it is not to insult your intelligence. When we grow, we grow. And what you don't know, you don't know. Okay? But the only way you can shift your identity is by understanding the core of what these things, of the things we think we currently know. And I didn't know much about what my core values were for a long time. And I surely didn't know how much it was tied to my identity. I did not understand what my core values, the lack of me understanding my core values, how much it was tied to what I was experiencing. I did not understand that. So the first thing I did is I learned what core values elicitation assessment was. Well, core values elicitation assessment is what I created to help others. But my studies and my research was in understanding core values a lot deeper than what I know right now. Okay? So I had to create and discover what are my core values because I did not know that I valued suffering. I did not know that I was valuing poverty. I did not know that my core value was struggling and despair. I did not realize it. Because how many of you would say, oh, my core value, a lot of people, well, I'll put it like this. A lot of people, if they're asked that question, they're going to say, oh, what do you value? You say, I value love, I value honesty, I value integrity, like all the good things. We've all said it. I'm not excluding myself, baby. I'm very comfortable and transparent speaking my truth because I know where I am now, honey. Hey, I'm shouting out on the rooftops, okay? A lot of people will give the generic answers, and some people, it may be accurate. However, for the majority, it isn't. And there's so many ways I can prove it, but I'm just going to stick to one. When I say my core identities, my core values was struggling, lack, poverty, just disparity, it was because that was all I was attracting and experiencing. You see, your core values guides your process of thinking and choosing. Our core values is how we choose. And a lot of us think our core values, I didn't say values, I'm saying core values. A lot of our core values is not what we think. Because I thought my core values was love. I used to say things like my core value is touch, and my core value is, integrity and respect and accountability and all the things that we would naturally choose. However, it is a contradiction of what you experience because your core values is what's also shaping not only your identity, it's what's causing you to experience more hurt, more pain, more suffering, grief, displacement, biases, and all the other things. I've studied this. So when those of you who said y'all want to know how I make consistent money now, how I forge healthy relationships, platonic and romantic, how I constantly have opportunities coming my way, how I'm not miserable, depressed, or lonely, even though I feel alone sometimes. I'm never lonely. I have clarity and confidence that is through the roof. This was my first step, doing the core values or core value elicitation assessment. Because what I thought my core values was, baby, it wasn't. All of those pretty values, those significant values, the love, the peace, the security, I value safety, I value simplicity, I value all the beautiful things. Not as much as we think we do. Ashe? Not as much as we think we do. So I'm like, something is wrong. Why am I still not experiencing that? Something is incredibly wrong. Nube, how are you? Riri, how are you, my love? Mine is lag. Yes. Ashe. You'll be a perfect shifter. You will be a perfect shifter, Divine. The shift framework will absolutely work for you. So that was the first thing that I did in switching my identity. I had to reevaluate my core values and to see if they were aligning with my reality and my experiences. And once I was like, okay, something is missing here. So when I finally discovered that, after months and months and months of doing research, I'm like, God damn, do I really value disparity and struggle and all of these things? Apparently I was. And I said, okay, well, how do I fix it now? I'm a solutionist. I'm a strategist. I'm going to fix it. I'm not going to talk about the problem. There's a difference in talking about the problem and understanding the problem, because you cannot fix what you don't understand. So I don't mind talking about a situation as long as I'm actively working on solving. So I'm all about the solution. So I'm like, okay, this is the issue, I need to figure out how I shift my identity from those core values to these core values that I actually talk that I want to embody. And that's what I did. Okay. And so I created a core values elicitation assessment to help my mentees. Infinite gratitude, Riri. How are you, beautiful? So this is what I created. So I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not going to hold on to it. It might take you about anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how serious you are about learning what your current core values are. Okay. Now, normally I teach this to my personal mentees that hire me for one-on-one. Infinite gratitude, Riri. However, I said, you know what? I want to be able to offer it to people who may not be ready to invest in that type of finances right now. However, they still want to change and shift their identity and shift their reality. So I made it accessible for you at a very, very small investment. I made it very, very, what's the word I want to use? Somebody give it to me. Shelly, hi, beautiful. How you doing? Yes, it's been a minute. How you doing, love? Hey, 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 now. Affordable. That's the word I want to use. Affordable. Cost efficient. Thank you, Debonair. Listen. I'm only engaged with intelligent people. When I know the people who come around me in my vortex, and y'all allow me in your vortex, we there. So I made the core values elicitation assessment affordable. Okay, so for those before we continue getting into the lesson, for those of you who are interested, you can click the link in my bio and you'll see is the very first tab, core values assessment. And when you get the core values assessment, I think it's $22 or $25. Very small investment. Now, if you don't have $22 or $25 to invest in yourself, honey, you ain't ready. That will also give you access to my Quantum Shift Society community. There you can learn a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll show you all after the lesson if you want to stick around. So if you want the core values assessment, how I went, how I started earning consistent money, right? How I got out of my deep states of depression and not just got out of them, I stayed out of them. How I learned to be consistent because I struggled with procrastination. And I'm like, why? I'll be doing good for a whole week. I'm like, oh, we got it. And then the next thing you know, where the fuck did the motivation go? The inspiration. And it's like, oh my goodness, I don't want to keep drinking energy drinks to, falsify my enthusiasm. I don't want to keep doing none of those things. So I had to figure it out. How many of you know, baby, when you hit rock bottom, it's time to figure some things out. And I had to figure some things out. And it is all, and also, I see a lot of new souls that are here with me. For those of you who don't know, I've been teaching self-mastery for 17 plus years. I like to say 15 so people don't try to gauge my avatar age. Wink, wink. Okay, so however, I've been teaching for more than 17 plus years. And so my core studies come from quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement. It comes from universal laws, principles, meta principles. It comes from me studying psychology, NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. It comes from all of these things. And so when I say that I'm an expert self-mastery educator and mentor, I say that confidently. Because what I teach works. And if you don't just want to hear my word for it, if you click most of the services that I offer, which is not many, you'll see the reviews, real reviews from real people that can vouch for my level of expertise, that can vouch for the way that I mentor. You understand? And if a mentee have never progressed from my teachings, it was not because of my teachings. It was because they didn't do the work for whatever reason. There is no judgment here at all because I've done the work. I'm responsible for me and I'm responsible for souls that trust me. I'm going to do my part. I'm always going to do my part. I'm not going to do your part for you. I will do it with you. I will walk with you, not for you. I will run with you, not for you. I will cross the line with you, not for you. It's literally impossible for that to happen anyway. But when I tell you I'm very, very good at what I do, I am. Okay? And I want you to have that same confidence when you shift your identity so you can start talking more confidently, so you can start building your confidence more, so you can start building your consistent income streams more confidently, consistently. I want that for you. You can have it. I get so sad when I see so many of us just talking crazy. I'm like, damn, you still talking crazy? Some of y'all are 30, 40, 50 plus around this beautiful sun cycle, and you still talking crazy. You still repeating the same horrible stories, and you wondering why they keep showing up in your life. Infinite gratitude, virtual space beauty. Hi, beautiful. Thank you. How you been? How have you been? Right, Devon? I am for sure. Yes. Chef in the comment section, she's a mentor. Debonair, she's taken my master classes in the past. There's more than a few here. However, I've learned not to focus on everybody. And I'm only focused on the willing souls. I don't want to hear the justifications, the rhymes, the reason. I am not that type of mentor that's going to coddle you. I cannot stand mentors that coddle you and stroke your damn sorrows like you are a pet. I'm not, that ain't gonna never be me. So I understand that my mentoring style, it isn't for everybody, because I'm gonna hold you accountable in love. I'm going to, because I know a lot of y'all are crying at night. I know a lot of y'all are suffering and y'all smiling your way through it, and it's hurting you further. I know a lot of y'all are waiting from living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm not saying this to insult or demean or degrade any beautiful soul here. I'm saying it because it is the truth. And if people you love who is in your life isn't willing to be truthful for you, let they ass go, get away from them. Shelly, one of my mentors, and she right, she is going to hold you accountable. I'll treat you how I really want to be treated. Don't come over here, yes, Venus, me. Don't come over here and say, you right, girl. Take that shit to somebody stupid who want to stay stupid. I'm not for it. I want you to check me in righteousness. Okay? A lot of my identity was cultivated from the street, so I talk like I talk, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I want you to hold me accountable. I want you to pull me to the side and respect and love me like, yo, hey V. Now you know I love you, but you 10 types of wrong for that. Or you know what? How about I offer you a different perspective? Here it go, because I heard you say this, or I heard you say that, or do that. And I want to offer you a better way because I love you. I'm going to tell you if your tag hanging out in the back of your shirt. I'm not just going to walk you, trot your ass looking beautiful as you do. And I'm not going to I'm going to fix you. I'm going to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But we are around so many people who, girl, yes, boy, yes, bro, yes, sis, yes, what? You're not helping me. How are you growing if the 5 people you hang around the most isn't there? Y'all all on the same level? Where y'all growing? If you're the smartest one in your primary group, mentors, friends, family, no matter what it is, there's 2 things that's going to happen. A shift. You are going to either shift down or shift up. And if you shift up and they don't shift up with you, guess what? There's going to be some type of disconnection there, as it should be. But a lot of times, because of our associations, we want to stay with the same identity of friends, the same identity of people, the same identity of characteristics and moving and all of the other stuff, not knowing that is also helping you to further destruct. I said, Let me tell you something. I would disconnect my mama, my daddy, my siblings, my brothers, even my children. I say that with all due respect. And I've had to do it. So I know the physical hurt and fractures that come with having to do that. Why? Because I understand a lot of things that I want to teach willing souls. Like the fact that your children aren't just your children. Your mother's parents are not just your mother's parents, and you're not just that to them. We are souls. We are all having an individual spirit. Women, divine females, we are divine wombs and portals. How would they get here if it wasn't through us? So we're not just the names and titles that we are that have connected us in this physical realm. We are also individualized. Your sole purpose is not to be a mother. Your sole purpose is not to be the worker or the wife or the spouse or the business. Your sole purpose in life is not just for that, and the same goes for them. This is why a lot of us kind of suffocate our loved ones, because we don't know how to let it go. We don't know how to let them go and let them fly. We push our fears and our scarcities on them. Well, I don't want you living a life that I live. How do you know that's not a part of their purpose? I want to give you more than I had. How do you know that's a part of their divine destiny? We constantly are suffocating our loved ones, even ourselves, because we want control over everything. Let it go. Shifting your identity master framework teaches you a lot of these things. Okay? So back to how I defeated depression, how I survived suicide, especially the second time. Babe, when I tell you I have purpose, like many of y'all purpose will blow some of y'all minds right now. It will blow some of your minds. And even though I have purposes, I still have to make the choice every single day to embody them and to fulfill them. It wasn't my time. Because I had to meet you, Divine. We had to connect. I had to meet you. I had to engage with you, Chef. I had to engage with you, Shells. She cares, but she's going to make you do the work, heal, and be whole. I say, I needed to connect with you. Queen, Sunshine, Virtual Beauty. I needed to connect. Everyone that I've ever connected with. I didn't know your names at the time. I didn't know your souls at the time. I just knew there were souls that I needed to connect with because there is something that I had for them and there is something that they had for me. And because I made it my business to ascend and accelerate in life, to expand my consciousness, to expand my life, I knew that if I didn't do something about it, I wouldn't experience it. And I'm so glad I made the choice to shift my identity. I'm so glad I reevaluated my core values. I'm so glad I understand and remember who I am at my core. Why is this important? Because our identities is built on our value system, core values specifically. And a lot of our core values is built upon fear, scarcity, lack, loneliness, survival, right? And it's not helping. So in order for you to experience any of your goals, so if you want to experience more consistent money, if you want to experience more healthy love, friendships, forging healthy relationships, if you want to experience more aligned partners, significant partners, if you want to experience more vacations and see the world, if you want to experience retiring yourself when you want to retire yourself, not when they want you to retire yourself, when you all bones cracking every other step you take, then you have to do something about that. Then you have to reevaluate your core values because everything you're experiencing is largely due to your current core values. And a lot of us are unaware. Because leave it up to us. If I ask this question 99.9 times, people are going to give me the same answers. Not to say that y'all don't want those to be your core values, but they aren't currently a lot of your core values. They're not. Just like they wasn't mine. I had to learn this. But the years it took me to finally understand all of these things, I packaged it and condensed it where you can understand it in less than 15 minutes. That's what you need. You don't get to take the next step. You don't get to advance or accelerate if you do not understand what your core values is. And there's a specific method in which you figure that out. So this is why I tell y'all, go grab the assessment. Take it. Don't waste time. You need it. I needed it because I was tired of repeating the same cycles over and over. And I'm like, well, something has got to change. And nobody's changing it for me. Nobody's coming to save Venus. I had to save myself. SYX, SYS, SYS. Put it in the comment section. SYX. I want y'all to get it through your minds and into your souls. SYX. Save yourself. Elevate yourself. Shift your identity yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. Okay? In order for you to do anything, I see all the SYS. Yes, Devanir. Yes, Chef. Yes, Shelly. In order for you to do anything, it don't matter what season of life you're in. And a lot of times, your core values may shift. However, when you have the blueprint, you know what to do. So it's not a one-time thing. Depending on the level and season of life you're in, some of your core values may change, and that's okay. But how are you going to get to elevate to that next season, that next level, if you do not understand that even though your core values, once you reevaluated your core values, they may not be the same for that next level. Okay? They may not be the same for that next level. Any successful business, any Fortune 500 company, they understand assessments. They understand project management. They understand evaluations. Why? Because every season brings differences. Every level brings differences. You cannot sell Halloween stuff in springtime or for Christmas. So when businesses swap out their inventory and products and services to fit for what's going on in that season, for what that season or that level calls for, they shift. It's the same thing you have to do. But if you never really understand what your true core values are, how can you elevate? You're not going to make the money you want to make. You're not going to experience all the love, joy, bliss, and all of these different things that you can be experiencing. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you, learn from those who tried, failed, and failed again. That's what wisdom says. Only fools despise wisdom, right? So what if I told you that in 8 weeks, your life would drastically change? In 8 weeks, you would be in a position to align yourself with more consistent money. Align yourself with healthier relationships. Align yourself with more beneficial and aligned opportunities. Align yourself with more confidence. What if I told you that can happen in 8 weeks? How many of you would be interested in that? If I told you can begin feeling more joy, more confidence, more peace, and more security consistently, not momentarily, consistently. Queen, I see you. Yes. Peace, Queen. How are you, my love? Queen Tina Jean, how are you, honey? Right? What if I told you that in 8 weeks, you could start feeling better about who you are, about how you look? What if I told you that in just 8 weeks, you would start to love yourself a lot more? What if I told you in 8 weeks, you'll be able to have conversations with certain men and women that you wouldn't otherwise have conversations with? Would you be interested in that? What if I told you that in less than 8 weeks, you can start positioning yourself to receive more of the things and experiences and opportunities that you want? Ashe, I know I would. For sure. I certainly would. Okay? But there are certain things that you must do. Okay? So if you read Kicking It, and my moderator inside, if you click that service plus button down there, that little orange check mark, little square, you can request information, and I'll send you an opportunity that will be too irresistible for you to not accept, especially if you know you want to get out of the rut that you're in. If you know you don't want to keep living paycheck to paycheck. If you know you don't want to keep struggling and procrastinating, right? Other than that, continue to come here each Monday. We talk all things mastery here, all things shift. So you can shift your life and shift the lives of your loved ones. Okay? So in less than 8 weeks, with shifting your identity master framework, in week 1, you're going to learn how to awaken the old identity, infinite gratitude. You're going to understand all of these 8 frameworks that you must complete in order to shift your identity, to align yourself with, to receive more money, more health, more wealth, more confidence. So in week 1, you're going to learn how to awaken the old identity without re-traumatizing yourself. Now that's the key, because with so many misguided gurus, mentors, and coaches attempting to teach you how to truly heal, a lot of them don't really understand it themselves, and they're leading a lot of people astray. I say that respectfully. So in week 1, you're going to learn how to awaken the old identity without re-traumatizing yourself. In week 2, I'm going to go deeper into what identity really is, so you can have a solid foundation, so you know where you're going and you will be equipped with the tools to get there. So each week is made so you can focus on one particular thing and silence all the rest of the noise. By week 3, you will be able to understand the science and soul of identity reconstruction. I'm talking about the shifting. How do you shift? What happens when you shift? And by week 4, you're going to be able to release the old identity and rewire your new self for your new identity. By week 5, you're going to have the blueprint to designing your new self. But you cannot even get to week 5 designing your new self if you don't even know your current core values. So this is why the core values elicitation assessment is key. Okay? So it also, shifting your identity master framework is also included with the core values assessment, elicitation assessment. By week 6, you're going to know how to embody the new frequency, because what good is it that you obtain and you embody if you don't know how to cultivate? A lot of us miss that part. It's one thing to attract, it's one thing to manifest, it's one thing to materialize. So you can get the man, you can get the woman, you can get the money, you can get the confidence, you can start being consistent, you can get all the things. However, if you don't know how to cultivate it, you lose it. If you starve a plant, it's going to lose its vital essence. Ashe? This is why a lot of people, relationships don't work. This is why a lot of people money play ping pong. Because it's one thing to get it, it's another thing to learn how to cultivate. However, when you learn these 8 modules, these 8 frameworks, you can use it and apply it for any goal, any season in your life. So after you've done all of that, by week 7, you're going to understand and learn how to align your future actions, meaning every action that you take from there on, they're going to be in alignment. I'm speaking that for you. I want you to speak it with me so we're in alignment. Okay, I am helping you materialize these things. Okay, but like I said, remember, I work with you to amplify your frequency and energy. So by week 8, by week 7, you're learning how to align your actions for behavioral integration. There must be an integration in order for your creations, for you to maintain your creations. By week 8, you're going to know what's sustaining and expanding. Because once we've done all that, we want to keep going up. Just because things are great don't mean they can't be greater. Just because things are better and they get better don't mean they can't get better. You understand what I'm saying? So it's all about ascension. As living organisms, our primary function is to ascend, is to grow, evolve, expand, elevate. Because if we're not doing that, we're doing the very opposite. And in doing the opposite, knowingly or unknowingly, this is where the disparity comes in. This is where the lack of confidence comes in. This is where the insecurities come from. This is where the natural flow stops. This is where the depression and all the things we don't want. So after you learn from week 1 to 8. To 8, you learn how to cultivate and expand your new identity. Okay. You also are given 7 identity archetypes. So you can pinpoint where you are. This works in conjunction with the core values elicitation assessment. Knowing which identity archetype you currently fall in is also going to give you the prerequisite steps for you to move into your new identity. Okay. And then, of course, I got to go above and beyond. I'm going to give you my most requested magnetic momentum method. The things that I use in my personal life ritually. Not just every now and again, not just every other. Ritually, I use these, which is how I'm able to maintain and cultivate my lifestyle right now. I'm going to get this. I don't know what. I'll come too far. You absolutely did. Okay. You absolutely did. A lot of you are like, listen, you're not here for just you're not here just to be here. You're here because you summoned yourself here. Your higher self summoned yourself here. And you need to understand that. It is absolutely important that you understand this. Ashe? So I'm going to show you, I don't want to click off of here. Let me pull it up over here. Show me what you got, baby. Show me what you got. Miss Octavia, hi, love. Hi, honey. How you doing? Is this my page? All right. How do we get to Okay. So for those of you, let me take this out. I'm gonna show you real quick. Let me flip my screen because this is what I rarely do. And I said I was gonna start doing it. So for those of you who want the assessment, the core values assessment, if you click my picture right here, it'll lead you to this link. Okay, and this is what's gonna come up. You're gonna see this page. It's right here. When I said it's the first tab, it's right here. Core values elicitation assessment plus quantum shift society access. So once you pay the invest the $25 and you get the core value assessment, don't worry about if you don't know exactly how to actually commence it. Because once you get in the community, you can ask me whatever questions that you want to have. Okay? So this is how it looks. Quantum Shift Society. This is how it looks. Okay? So you're going to click join here, and it's going to lead you to it's going to lead you to where you can request access. Okay, and you can start doing that today. I don't know about you, but I don't like postponing my life. I do not like postponing my life. I ain't gonna do it. If I don't like procrastinating, if I say I'm gonna do something, I need to write it on my calendar and I need to do it and get it done. Why wait until tomorrow when you can do something right now, especially if you understand that nothing happens by coincidence, rhyme, reason, justification, or excuse. Everything happens because it is supposed to happen. And when you understand that you are the one that should be paying attention to what and who you're aligned with. So when you start to understand things like that, you move on it because it's the only thing that's going to change. Okay. Now I want to give y'all a glimpse of Quantum Shift Society. I don't want that. I'm going to give y'all a glimpse into it because I said I was going to show y'all, but I never really show y'all. So this is what you're gaining access to. This is quantum. For those of you who may not know, Surprise, I'm in a process of shifting. So we used to be all things mastery community. Now we are Quantum Shift Society. Okay. Now I haven't officially announced it yet. So all of you are here are getting the pre-announcement to it. But once you get the core values assessment, you're going to receive a link for the QSS, which is Quantum Shift Society, and I'm going to give you access to it, okay? And this is how the page is going to come up. Once you do that, if you come in classrooms, this is where all of the learning is, okay? This is where you will find the core values assessment. This is the classroom part of our community. So you would start there and just read a little bit on getting how to get the best out of it. This is our ever-growing library. There's one exclusive for elite members. They pay a higher investment fee because they get personal mentorship and a whole bunch of other goodies. But for the general members, this library is currently growing, and it already has several master classes and lessons in there that you can use. So here's where the core values elicitation assessment is going to be. So once you invest in the core values elicitation assessment, it's going to bring up a link. Once I grant you access, and I always say it's best to do it while we're online. So if you're getting it and you're requesting access, I can allow you in while I'm on live. Okay, so this is where you'll find that, and this is where you'll find the Shift in Your Identity Master Framework, which is what I was just teaching you all. All of that information is all in this 8-week master framework. So both of these go hand in hand. However, you can start with just the core values elicitation assessment. And then once you're ready to move on, you can come here. Okay. That's when you can get the, which these are going to be filled with all of this is going to have all of the modules, the visual and the audio of all the modules. Okay. And you'll also be notified on the school program whenever we have our group mentorship. If I have a personal meeting with you, you'll find that there with the link. Okay. So it's incredibly beneficial for you all. I would say that it would be incredibly beneficial because you have to learn that you should not be doing it by yourself. You were never purposed to live life by yourself. CCB, how are you, my love? Quiet, how are you, honey? Infinite gratitude, right? You wasn't purposed to do things alone, okay? So for those of you who are interested in the core values elicitation assessment, if you're getting it now, please let me know so I can look out to accept your request, because I'm currently in Thailand right now. So I would rather do it, accept your request right now so you can create, what is that? So you can create your profile and you can begin your assessment. Come on over here. Do any of you have questions about the community? Are there any questions about the QSS, Quantum Shift Society? Are there any questions about the evaluation? Not the evaluation, the core values elicitation? Did I miss any comments? I would. Trey's mom, how are you? I didn't even see you. Shirley, I'm convinced you have the keys. Just few jewels you dropped on me last year. Major shift. I've shaved up in there. I've shaved, my love. Shelly, it was so good seeing you. So good seeing you. I definitely would. Absolutely. These are all the things that have helped me. And I'm greater for it. I am. I'm greater for it. So when it comes to no, I'm not going to do that right now. I'll probably go over that in the next past, present, future shifting. I'll go over that in the next live. Oh, you're welcome, gorgeous. Infinite gratitude, Ashe. Infinite gratitude. That's the most gratifying thing for me, for sure. For sure. I receive more than a few. I always receive more than, is that my Allah? That's my all. I receive more than a few like personal reviews and emails. I love when I get personal reviews and emails of beautiful souls that I work with express how much what I've taught them has helped them. I just received one the other day. It was so beautiful. It's like, oh, it was just so awesome. It just brings my heart so much joy. Whenever y'all win, I win. Whenever y'all shift, I shift. It's just beautiful to know that you're making an input. You're making an impact with your input on souls. Like you're making a difference. And that's important to me. That type of gratification, money cannot buy. That type of joy, bliss, just happiness, money cannot buy. I am always eternally grateful whenever I receive messages or emails like that, right? Of their life getting better because of the mentorship. So I'm eternally grateful for that. All right. Any questions? What is this? Okay. I don't see any questions come up. So, infinite gratitude to you all for spending your beautiful time with me. Infinite gratitude to my YT family. Infinite gratitude to my TikTok family, of course, and my FB family. Infinite gratitude. I hope that something that I said in this live masterclass today, talking about shifting your identity, discussing how you can end your suffering, how you can end your struggle, and how you can set yourself up for financial success and wealth. So, infinite gratitude. I hope you all have an extraordinary rest of your Monday, because I know I'm going to go and relax and rejuvenate and reset. Okay, shift my energy. It's always exciting, but I'll be on such a high whenever I do these lives. So infinite gratitude for you spending the amount of time you spent with me and exchanging your beautiful energy. We're gonna Wednesday coming up. I'm not sure if we're gonna do a new master lesson or continue something, but we're definitely still focusing on shifting your identity, because that is at the center of everything you experience. Okay. So until next time, love you all so, so much. Infinite gratitude. Thank you. And I will see you all this Wednesday coming up. The new time is 11 a.m. Okay. So I like I pushed it back a little bit, even though that's 10 p.m. for me. I don't mind, because I love what I do. So the new time for Monday, Wednesdays, and maybe Fridays is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see you all then. Peace.